can't keep turning.
What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about the brand new horror film called The Turning. I need you in the comments down below. Are you turning around on this movie? No? Okay. So a young governess is hired by a man who has become responsible for his young nephew and niece after their parents' death. A modern take on Henry Jones' novella, The Turn of the Screw. It's probably a cooler name than The Turning. It's a January studio horror film. What more do you expect? Well, I wanted it to be some semblance of a good movie, right? There were things in there that I absolutely thought were going to execute, and for the most part, they did. Finn Wolfhard. Let's talk about Finn for just a second. I really enjoy his presence in everything that I've seen him in, and not that he was bad in this film. I think at times he was possibly overdoing it, but I do think the guy, he's going to grow into a fantastic actor. What I do take issue with is all this Finn Wolfhard fan group, whatever that is, going on Letterboxd and rating this movie 5 stars without seeing the film, and I thought we were past this. And I also thought this wasn't a thing that happened on Letterboxd. That's why I like the site the way I do, but no, we got like 50 to 65 stars, and they'll even admit it in the review. I haven't seen the movie, but Finn Wolfhard's in it. I'm just like, just want to rip my hair out. And the fact that I'm seeing 5 stars next to this movie kind of cracks me up. Also, Brooklyn Prince. I'm always rooting for her. The Florida Project, if you all have known me for a long time, you know that that's one of my favorite movies of that year, and I think she is a national treasure. And she was actually the shining beacon of this film. Anytime there needed to be a boost or an injection of energy into the movie, her character could always do that, and the way she displayed emotion was great. And of course, we have to talk about Mackenzie Davis, who I love, but I don't want her to start falling into roles like this. She needs to expand herself and do what I believe she is built to do and take on roles that will challenge her, like what she did in Blade Runner 2049, and even to an extent, her role in Terminator. Say what you will about that film, but she was really good in that movie. Not that she's bad here. It's more the writing for her character and the decision-making behind what she is constantly doing. There is some semblance of an effort in this film. Certain shots are executed in such a way I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty good. And there is a bit of a buildup of intensity throughout. But every time I felt something that made me interested in this plot, this story, these characters. One, I would predict what was going to happen next, and inevitably, it happened until we get to the end, and we'll discuss that here in just a second, without spoilers. But two, it's a cheap jump scare. It's a cheap jump scare after cheap jump scare, and they continue to do it, and they would do the thing where they'll tease you for a jump scare, and then they won't do it, thinking they're sneaky and conniving, and sometimes that works, don't get me wrong, but it all comes down to how the film is made, how it is executed, and I just don't think this film was properly executed. It feels so cliche, so conventional. It is basically the plot of every other studio horror film you've ever watched, with the same characters, the same decision-making, the same, okay, why are you doing this? And I know sometimes that's the fun of a horror film. It's like, why is your character still here after everything is pointing in the direction of you leaving? Well, I guess if she leaves, then we wouldn't have our film, right? But there's even a moment in the movie where she is actually like, all right, I'm out. And I'm like, yes, that's what we need. And then she turns around and comes back in. I'm like, I have to sit through the rest of this film. I have to just sit and watch these ridiculous things happen, knowing what is actually happening, knowing how this movie is going to end up, or at least how it ends up at first. Because I will say there are 2 endings to this film. And one, even though I saw it coming from a mile away, it was the most predictable ending I have ever seen in my life. Still don't understand some of the imagery. We get what the story is, right? But it's all about the way that it's shown to us. And I just thought some of it was so cheesy, to be honest. But then something else happens. And horror movies will do this. In the last moment of their film, something will happen. You're like, ooh, maybe it's not over. But this didn't just do that. This did something. I don't even want to hit on what it is because I don't want to ruin the movie. Ruin the movie for you guys. But oh my God, somebody had to approve this. Whether it was a room full of writers, a room full of producers, someone had to say, that's a good idea, let's do that. And they did it. And The Turning It's not often you get loud, audible groans from average audience members talking people who maybe don't go to every single movie every single week or month. But man, there were 4 or 5 people when that ending happened and the credits came on screen. They're just going, oh my goodness. One guy literally stood up and said, well, let's go. And I'm like, brother, I'm with you. Where's my jacket? Let's get out. And I was genuinely sitting here going, hey, there's a little bit of craft here and there, right? Some of these shots were nice. I appreciated the cinematography at times, and there was a subplot in there I was interested in. That happens, strips you away. What's the last thing you think about when you walk out of a movie like this, especially? It's the ending, how our characters ended up, and it just did not work for me. If you guys can relate to that, or you enjoy these videos, be sure to smash that thumbs up button, and I will have more reviews this weekend. Yeah, I gotta go 22% for The Turning. It was just not my cup of tea. I do not like studio horror films. I do not like studio horror films that fall completely flat at the end and just continue to make conventional decisions that are just, do something different. But I really like the cast. Like I said, they all did their part. It's just everything surrounding them. The shell of the film fell flat. You guys are the best. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you very soon.